It started with a profile, a song clip, and a declaration, "Hello world, I'm here," in minutes. A teenager across the country clicked add friend. Within hours, thousands followed. Suddenly, everyone felt connected, closer, more alive, part of something bigger. A revolution disguised as a simple social network sprung from dorm room whispers and late-night coding sessions. And then, as quickly as it ignited, it vanished. Once the world's greatest social stage, its lights dimmed, its stages emptied, its crowd gone, like dust scattering in the wind. This is the story of a digital empire built in youth, hype, freedom, and how it crumbled before its time. This is the story of MySpace. In 2003, a trio of young entrepreneurs launched a new social website, one that promised no gatekeepers, no formalities, just raw self-expression, profiles with favorite songs, personal blogs, instant messaging, friend lists, bulletins. It was messy, personal, rebellious, and it resonated fast. Back then, the internet felt like the wild frontier. Forums were small, isolated, chat rooms were clunky, but MySpace offered something different, a boundless social canvas. Users could customize pages with music, colors, photos. They could declare who they were loud and proud. It felt like freedom, and for countless young people, it felt like home. Within 2 years, MySpace surged. Accounts multiplied daily. Friend networks overlapped. Musical artists used it to share their songs directly. Communities formed of fans, of misfits, of dreamers. And the world noticed. Venture capital followed. Media frenzy followed. MySpace became more than a website. It became the pulse of a generation. At first, it wasn't planned to be a global phenomenon. It was a side project, stripped down, raw, unrefined. But its flaws became features. Spontaneity over polish, chaos over curation. Users loved it because it was theirs, in all its messy, adolescent glory. Friends invited friends. Bloggers invited readers. Fans invited fans. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. No advertising, no marketing budget. Just peer-to-peer sharing, midnight posts, and a sense of belonging. Teenagers who didn't fit in at school found comfort on MySpace. Artists who couldn't get record deals built followings overnight. Minorities, outsiders, creators, they found a stage. Without gatekeepers, suddenly, walls dissolved. Geography, social class, distance, none mattered. By 2005, MySpace boasted tens of millions of registered accounts. Music listeners spent hours discovering unknown bands. Friends curated bulletins, posted photos, shared stories. For many, their identity became their profile page, their real selves and their aspiration displayed in neon gifs and song lyrics. It was chaotic, glorious, alive. It was the dawn of social media. Between 2005 and 2007, MySpace rose to its zenith. It became more than a site, it became culture. The largest social network in the world. Its brand plastered across magazines, blogs, MTV screens. Celebrities migrated to the platform. New musicians built fan bases. Bands released demos directly to listeners. Overnight sensations were born. Some unsigned punk groups sold out shows thanks to dozens of thousands of MySpace friends. Others found collaborators in different countries, sharing tracks, mixing songs, building communities. For a time, MySpace wasn't just where people connected. It was where they discovered, belonged publicly. It dictated trends minus music, fashion, art, identity. It rewrote the rules of popularity. It democratized influence. Parents noticed. Advertisers noticed. The world watched. MySpace was the Wild West, but it felt warm. Real, irreplaceable. The world seemed open, infinite, full of possibility. And MySpace was its gate. Yet, beneath the glow, fissures were forming. The chaos that once charmed began to suffocate. Profiles loaded slowly. Pages broke. Spam rose. Fake accounts appeared. Bent pages fixed up songs. But friends complained about lagging streams, lost messages, broken playlists. Worse, new platforms began to emerge. One quietly focused on clean design, simplicity, real names, privacy. It didn't promise chaos or customization. It promised trust, friends who were real, clean walls. That platform was beginning to look appealing to people growing older, tired of the clutter. Meanwhile, MySpace grew heavier. The once nimble startup had been acquired by a media giant. Decisions slowed. The identity that was its strength, its rough, independent edge, eroded under corporate pressure. The aggressive advertising, intrusive layout changes, autoplay music, pop-ups, they all crept in. Fans began to feel the shift. The pages that once sparkled with personal posts and indie tracks started to feel commercialized, crowded, impersonal. Music scenes splintered. Bands migrated. Users drifted. New social spaces offered cleaner, quieter privacy. MySpace's boisterous noise became its burden. Then came the final blow. Users began leaving. Friends stopped logging in. Bands moved their following elsewhere. Spam, spam, spam. The custom pages, that chaotic tapestry of individuality, turned into broken relics. Hard-won networks evaporated overnight. Suddenly, the thing that made MySpace unique was the thing that destroyed it. From boom, to rust, to dust. By 2009, the signs were clear. The once unstoppable force was stumbling. Global user counts dropped. Advertisers lost interest. Investors grew cold. The platform that had shaped a generation's memories faded into online oblivion. A new social order had emerged. Clean interfaces, real identities, friend networks based on actual connection, not global randomness. Platforms promising subtlety over chaos. Curated experiences over messy self-expression. People calling for simplicity, authenticity, stability. MySpace lingered for a while, a ghost of what it had been. But its magic was gone. The colors drained, the pages froze, the email alerts stopped. Bands that once toured on a wave of friend counts now promoted themselves on new stages. Teenagers who logged in after school remembered the excitement, but no longer the drive to stay. Today, MySpace remains online, technically active, but its pulse is faint. Its user counts are whispers. It is no longer the roaring social coliseum it once was. It is a digital ruin, a monument to what was. What once was overflowing with connection now holds empty echoes. The story of MySpace is not just about a website, or a company, or a fad. It's a human story, about longing, belonging, identity, and the fragility of empires built on youth and noise. We flocked to MySpace because we craved freedom, to be heard, to be seen, to belong. We tuned our layouts, picked our music, shaped our persona. We built connections across continents. We discovered art and voices we hadn't known existed. We raced fast, lived loud, felt infinite. But in that freedom lay the seeds of our own undoing. What thrived in chaos doesn't always survive order. What sparkled in restructuring melts under pressure. MySpace flourished because it tolerated mess, embraced rebellion, encouraged self-expression. But as it tried to grow, to monetize, to scale, it lost the thing that made it vital, authenticity. It traded soul for structure, heart for headlines. Yet even in its failure, there is meaning. MySpace tells us that success is temporary, that empires built on flux are fragile, that every boom must guard against the dust that follows. It reminds us that progress carries danger, not only from outside, but from within. For every MySpace, there is a generation that loved it, lived in it, shaped it. For every boom, there is a dust that follows, but memories remain. Friend lists, old posts, music tracks, relics scattered across the web, unnoticed, forgotten, but once alive. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the fall of MySpace reminds us to value what we build, but never to cling too tightly, to cherish the chaos, but embrace change, to remember that every rise carries its own expiration, that every empire, digital or real, must adapt, evolve, or be buried by its own past. Boom to dust, a cycle older than time. And in that cycle, perhaps the only certainty is impermanence, because what we build today, in noise, in passion, in hope, may echo tomorrow only in memories, abandoned pages, silent servers. But those echoes matter. They are parts of our stories. MySpace is gone, but its ghost lingers, a silent whisper in the wires, a reminder that nothing lasts forever, except the longing to connect, to belong, to be heard.